I was talking about this with one of my clients the other day. We were talking about discipline and how uh,
Yeah.
there's a difference between the discipline that you get from a drill sergeant yelling at you and
Yeah.
the discipline you get from working on it yourself and just doing it because it's the right thing to do, right? Like discipline
Exactly.
is and virtue is doing something for that something's sake, right?
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
you might say that the drill sergeant is forcing you to do something, therefore it's not necessarily 100% virtuous. Did you
Yeah.
notice people in the military who, you know, when the drill sergeant's yelling at them, they're doing everything right, but then as soon as they have to, go home, it's
Yeah.
just like straight back to
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
habits?
Well, that's the one I'm gonna get crucified for not remembering this phrase, but it's something like integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking, you know?
Yeah.
And I had a unique experience going to the military because I was almost in my 30s. So I already kind of was, I mean, my frontal lobe was pretty much hardwired at that point. I was kind of set in my ways. So I had a
Mm.
unique perspective on that. And I would see exactly what you're saying is I was older than my drill sergeant, and I would see kids there fighting every step of the way, and it's volunteer service. And I'd sit there and I genuinely had like almost like studies in the human condition. I'd be sitting there in the middle of this misery going, why is this guy fighting this? He asked to be here. Not like it's always fun and, roses and
Mm.
happiness. And I would see that and wonder why that. But then I would look back a little bit more maturely and realize that there's a method to the madness where, discipline begets desire. And I would see that they would force that temperance or that courage, or they would force the concept of those things, thus creating a foundation for them to kind of like cleanse their palate, to train, for lack of better terms, that reactionary process. Obviously some people can't be trained, and then maybe they don't make it, and those might be also the people that are the the couple bad apples in the basket, unfortunately. But there's not many of them. But yeah, that drill sergeant thing, I mean, they're not saying, nowadays I can't speak because it's been a while, but they're not saying, hey, do you want to be disciplined today, or do you want to do these push-ups? They're saying you will do this and you will be disciplined.
Mm.
And hopefully that taps into something. Some people, obviously, as you and I know, in any field, some people are inherently, that's their nature, to be intensely disciplined. But with that, ironically, it goes to that the dichotomy concept. I'm one of those people that hates when things don't go my way, though. So I'm extremely disciplined, but if something comes out of the left field, then that just ruins my whole day. And so the military would also tap into that, where I'm like, oh, cool, I know exactly how things are going to go. And then the drill sergeants would mess with my world. And then
Mm.
I, as Jeff, had to learn how all that stuff is great and dandy, but if something comes out of the left field that you can't control, there's a military phrase that's beat to death all the times, is adapt and overcome. And
Yeah.
that was my thing for, the undisciplined kid. He had to learn discipline. I had to learn how to flex my discipline. And it's an ironic design. I want to know who the mastermind is, or if they really truly have a plan sometimes, because it works out, but it's amazing that it does.
Yeah.